everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I am Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm,
Konbanwa,
Jack Cepeda,
Irashaimase, everybody,
and Colin Sparling.
I have a question, and that question is, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
You know, the answer to that question, I thought I knew. I thought I knew what love was. I thought I had a firm grasp, and now I just don't know anything anymore after these latest developments in Terrace House land.
Same, because today we are talking about it's hard to even say, the unfortunate, disastrous, life-killing, love-threatening breakup between Shion and Tsubasa.
I mean, what world is this? What timeline are we in where Tsubasa and
I feel like
Shion,
we're having a funeral service. This isn't even a podcast anymore.
It's a more. I know this is a post-mortem.
in the arms of an angel.
All right.
I mean, we're all wearing black suits and ties.
I've got a veil on, so
yeah,
there's that.
It's a somber. There's rain outside.
Yeah.
Probably it's Seattle. I mean,
I'm gonna put my sunglasses on so you can't see the tears.
All right.
Get the tissues ready, y'all.
No, but what are we talking about this week, though? In all seriousness,
we're talking about how life has died inside.
It's the post-mortem.
Yes. We're basically kind of reflecting on the life of Tsubasa.
The life in times.
So I want to start it off by a question for you guys. Is using their couple name now insensitive because they're not a couple? Like, is Tsubasa like a bad thing to say?
I mean, only in like past tense, I guess, because you don't call like what I think you're doing there is like Brangelina, right? Like when
portmanteau.
Yeah, like so. I guess people refer to them when they were a couple as that one word, but like for me, forever now, it's just gonna be Shion and Tsubasa. They're different people
I would
now.
just like to
They're
say
going their own
that
path.
Now that Tsubasa is no longer a thing, I would just like to say that Tsubasa, not the greatest name, not the greatest couple, the power
But
couple
it worked though. But it worked. So that's
well,
why people use it.
it sounds like a food dish to me. It sounds like a dish.
So would you recommend Suyeon?
Yeah, Tsubasa's better.
No, I
Yeah.
would not.
Tsubasa's better. I agree.
would
Of the
not.
two options.
I mean that's the thing too, is that I always felt hesitant to use the ship name because like I really like them as individuals as well as just the couple. There are definitely some couples in the world, fictional or not, that I prefer better as a couple versus individuals. But this was a case where it was just two people that I really loved coming together, which just multiplied that love.
The good ship Tsubasa.
Same.
Tsubasa, more like Tsundere. Am I right, guys? Am I right?
Whoa.
So
No.
to provide background, yeah, that was really bad. To provide background, so here's a little Tadaima story for you. A couple weeks ago, you probably have heard if you listen to our past episodes, Jack flew up here to Seattle. We recorded a couple episodes and doled them out over the next few days, and it was pretty cool. And so recording those episodes, we spent 4 hours locked up in this little dinky basement, and that's when we were all like, oh man, Shion and Tsubasa, they're going to be there together forever.
Dude,
because
we
they're
were
the happiest.
gushing over them.
And then
especially me. I was like, oh, they're fine. They're fine. They're fighting. It's okay. They've got a forever love.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about here, guys. Nothing to see here, folks.
We walk out of the studio, finally get internet on our phones again. And then we see the news. And it's like, no. Did we jinx it? What is this?
We did this.
Yes, I know. We put that karma out there. No, we originally were going to do like a more traditional After the House episode, right? And like, do their After the House interviews and discuss that kind of supplemental material. But, with that being that now they're broken up, now we have to talk about this now. So we have the unique position in, as Terrace House fans to be able to discuss the full breadth of their relationship from beginning to end now, sadly.
Guys,
So,
are you guys ready to put your tinfoil hats on for a minute here? Because I have a new conspiracy.
I thought you were about to give us some breaking news, you motherfucker.
Oh no.
Together.
I have a new conspiracy. what if we are the cause, and it was around the start of this podcast that we started to see a slow decline in Tsubasa?
Oh gosh, that's like every conspiracy theorist. Like they think everything revolves around their actions. It was us.
No, let's dive deep into that. I'm gonna full on tinfoil underwear on this. We started this podcast back in November, and I'm pretty sure in the early days we probably made an ASMR joke. And lo and behold, in November, Shion posts an ASMR video on YouTube.
Dun, dun.
Do you have like a corkboard somewhere with string all over it and like pictures of
one in my
Shion
head
and
right
Tsubasa? Like, gosh.
So since we're on the subject real quick, did anyone watch those ASMR videos? Because what the hell is he doing?
He's doing
really
ASMR.
Did anyone watch them? Because this kind of opens up a little bit of a different conversation too, just around what the fuck is ASMR anymore? Like I thought it was just brushing and maybe tapping acrylic nails on shit. Now it's like this is what you put on your phone on top of your Shion body pillow cover. While you're going to sleep. It's essentially this cute half Japanese boy saying nice things to you, laying next to you in bed, and then going to sleep. And if you really watch him, he's only talking for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes each. And then you're watching this Japanese boy sleep for like an hour and 15 minutes, in silence.
Yeah.
It is weird. Dude, ASMR got weird. And so there's 3 videos that I saw. One, he's talking about Harry Potter. The other one, he's talking about animals. And the other one, he's talking about film. It's just like, this is me. This is pillow talk with my fake Japanese boyfriend. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
This is like the ultimate VR experience.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds like the name of an anime. Pillow talk with my fake Japanese boyfriend.
That's what that is.
I would watch that anime.
And damn it.
But
Good.
like usually in an After the House episode, we would have exit interviews, but those have not been translated into English. And also having watched the very first part of Tsubasa's, which just starts with her shouting across an ice rink, "I love you, Shion." It feels like it wouldn't necessarily be the best for this post-mortem. So instead we have ASMR videos, Ps4 commercials, and some interviews.
Yeah, some joint.
They really
interviews
threw a wrench into our plans for this episode.
Yeah.
Couldn't they have just waited like another month?
Could you guys just stay together a little longer, just for 4 people you don't know? Thanks.
These 4 foreigners that you've never met.
Do we know?
They do know who we are. We're the cause of the breakup.
Guys, does anyone have any insight onto the cause? Or do we want to just throw conjecture out there?
I think that'll maybe become apparent when we dig deeper into the interviews.
Okay.
So I think let's first get kind of the smaller stuff out of the way. Jack, do you want to talk about those PS4 commercials real quick?
I mean, there's not much to say. They're just really there's 4 of them that I saw, and it looks like someone from Sony is just a Terrace House fan and saw them playing, in the room, is like, oh shit, this is like the world's most beloved couple on reality TV right now. And they're not making much money, or maybe Shion is, I don't know, in modeling, but they're like, let's throw them some money and have them pretend and act out these situations that a couple would go through when they're playing PlayStation and how that can bring people together. So I always love, and I kind of agree with their method here, because I always love when friends come over and they're not necessarily familiar with games. What's the first thing I do? Strap on a fucking PSVR headset and you're playing fucking Resident Evil 7, motherfucker. And I'm going to say, for my sick enjoyment, I'm going to watch you piss yourself. And it was great.
Just throw in the deep end, Jack.
Totally. Yes. Go in the basement. Yeah. No, that shit fucks people up. And I don't know if anyone's ever done Resident Evil 7 in PSVR, but damn, it's an experience. Anyways, so that's what they do one. And Tsubasa is kind of in the VR headset, and then she's getting scared, and hilarity ensues, etc. Then they're playing Detroit Become Human. Then there's one where they're playing Astrobot in Kingdom Hearts 3. And you know what? Like, none of it's translated. So it's like, I don't have much to say. It's just like kind of corny, cheesy. I think for people that aren't really fans of Terrace House, I don't know exactly what they're going to get out of it. If they're going to get anything out of it, it seems to be like you need to know these personalities to really, connect with those ads. And I don't even think they ran on TV. I think they're just like online only, like social media specifically. They're like built to share. Is what it comes down to. I just wish someone would translate them, but they're essentially just acting out like what a couple's like when they come home and wind down and
play
hang out.
video games together.
Yeah, so it was a cool little thing, but again, it's just like, man, they're broken up now, so this whole thing is just through the lens of heartache.
Yeah. I did kind of Google Translate the little mini interviews they had at the bottom of that page, and I found it kind of weird, like how I don't think Shion's much of a gamer. If he is, it doesn't seem to really show, because his responses, like they'd ask him questions like, of the 4 games you played, which one was your favorite? He's like, all of them. It's like, oh, okay.
He's casual.
Yeah, he's casual.
Yeah, but
it's not a bad thing or anything. It's just, it's kind of odd, I think, for Sony to pick a celebrity who, actually, it's not that odd, isn't it? But, just picking a celebrity who doesn't really know much about games and then putting them in a place to sell games is kind of like, okay, but why?
Yeah, I think they're reaching out to show like, hey, this is a good gift for your boyfriend if you're thinking about buying that for him, or this is how you can incorporate games with hanging out with your girlfriend kind of thing. Definitely a pain point in my history, like I've definitely wanted to play games, and someone I was dating wasn't really interested in watching me play, so you know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, even if casual gamer aside, I think the whole message of couples that play together have a good time, playing video games together, I think is I don't think there's anything wrong with that message.
Well, it's interesting though. I mean, it builds trust, right? Like that's like clinically proven. Like when you play, if you're trying to build trust with someone, like play a game with them. Like even if you're violent in a way too, it's weird. Like that's not necessarily a game, but like studies have also shown that people that have beef with each other, more or less, if they engage in a fight or physical altercation, that tends to bring them a little bit, build a bond rather than push them further apart, which is interesting too.
It's like what Microsoft says: when everyone plays, we all win. Right?
There can only be one.
I see you ringing that cash register there. How much did you get paid to say that?
I'll take my check in the mail, Phil. Thanks.
Yeah. Live in your world. Play in ours. PlayStation.
Any other corporate lines anyone wants to put on our podcast about Terrace House, please.
We would like to play.
Yeah, gosh.
We would like to play.
So those Ps4 commercials, I mean, they're supplementary and they're fun, but I don't know if I'd say like, oh, you got to watch them now as a Terrace House fan.
It could have been any couple, because it's like, it's interesting. It's told from like the perspective of the TV, like watching them play. And it's like, oh, like Shion's playing a single player game and Tsubasa is kind of mad about it and she walks away, but then she can't stop watching and stuff like that. Like it could have been any couple, but the fact that it was Shion and Tsubasa was just capitalizing on like, oh, someone like people that aren't necessarily part of our core audience are like Terrace House fans that watch like reality TV and are casual gamers, maybe like let's reach out to them with this very specified piece of content.
And that's what is also like pointing to another point about this couple, Shion and Tsubasa. When they were a thing, I would have watched them do anything. I would have watched them, go to the grocery store. I would have watched a reality show about it. If they could have broke out and had their own reality show, and I totally would have watched it.
But we've had that conversation before about like couples on Terrace House, and it's like, what would happen if they just stayed? Like, would we get sick of them? Like, they kind of have to go.
If they stayed in Terrace House, yeah, because then I'm like, well, you're sitting on like my drama spots, whereas 2 other people come in here and rustle shit up. Rustle their jimmies.
Rustle those jimmies.
Yeah, but that's why I'd want them to leave if it's gonna be boring shit. But if there was a couple in a Boys and Girls City that kind of had drama in the house, and that wasn't too bad. Drama, yeah, and that wasn't too bad.
Dramamine?
Yeah. In the secret sex room.
Oh, spoilers. God. No, well, I think that, the whole thing where like a couple stays too long in Terrace House, we get bored. Yeah, and I don't think centering a whole show around that would be like super interesting unless it was scripted reality TV, which in this podcast is kind of a bad word. But yeah, I think that's the only way they could really pull it off and make it interesting. I can't really think of other ways to do that. I could be wrong.
I miss them when they were gone. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
And they'll forever be gone as a couple.
They'll forever do their own thing now, man.
We gotta stop talking about them like they're dead. I mean, like they're both going to go and do things on their own that I would be compelled to watch. Like if one of them started like a vlog, which I think is kind of that good median between like reality TV and like scripted reality TV, where it's like they're producing their own content and we're just watching them do whatever. But I don't foresee either of them really doing that.
I'd watch more Crashed Ice.
Same. But while we're just talking about what they're going to get into individually, I say let's start going through their interviews, because they kind of hint at it in some of the interviews, right? I don't know. I feel like, there's a lot to go through with these interviews. They're pretty long, honestly. But, you learn things like, and let's start with something that hits hard. They both had matching rings given to them by Sana.
Yep.
Of course, Sana. Okay. What else?
I mean, that's
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, for one, they weren't engaged, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's just a really it's like a what do you call it? A promise ring.
They also had matching shoes, guys. Isn't it more common to match in Japan, like when you're couples? Am I imagining that?
So.
I mean, that's the sentiment I get out of this. Because it's not really something you think that much about unless you're going to a formal event here in the States. You know what I mean? Because this is the whole thing. Or like, oh, let me match my tie to your dress or whatever. But other than that, you don't really think of consciously of trying. I mean, daily, you don't think about matching with your significant other all the time, right?
Her face right now, like,
no, definitely not. Yeah.
It just occurs to me too. I think we should maybe backtrack. These two interviews we're covering were published last year in the summer in Elle magazine, as well as a Japanese site called Model Press. We'll put the links in the description so you can look at them yourself. They were translated by a Reddit user, so thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Anyway, going back into the interviews. So this is something that both of the interviews said that I think we could maybe dive into, and it'll give us a good launching pad, at least for us to make more conspiracy theories about why they broke up. So they both Shion and Tsubasa said that even though they were long distance, with Shion being in Tokyo and Tsubasa being in Karuizawa, and at some points in Canada, because Red Bull crashed ice. They would meet about once a week, which is pretty common, I would think, like for a couple that live super far away from each other.
I live with my wife. I see her once a week, and that's not even a joke.
Yeah, there you go. But, and this is where I felt a little bit iffy, out of all the times they saw each other, again, once a week, only once did Shion go to Karuizawa to see Tsubasa.
Could just be that they've done everything there, been there, done there, seen that. There might not be enough to do, and where he lives, there might just be more exciting shit, like better movie theaters and stuff.
True, but you're putting the onus of 4 hours of travel on one person in the relationship.
Yeah, that's super one-sided.
Maybe it was her idea. We don't know, and maybe they split the cost. We don't know.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't want to be the person that has to travel all the time.
Yeah, it's a good spot to at least think about maybe how that might have affected the relationship. Because when they did break up, I believe Shion came out and did say long distance did play a factor in it.
That means sex. When I hear that, that's what that means to me. Like, oh yeah, I played a factor.
I mean, not being around the other person in the relationship, though. I mean, it can be pretty rough because you can only. I mean, texting itself can only do so much. You know what I mean? Like.
I read in the what was not L, the other one?
Model Press.
Model Press. I read in that one that they would usually talk once a week or something like that, and they wouldn't video chat really hardly ever. They would only text and call maybe, but they would only video chat when they are making up from an argument. So it seems like these arguments were somewhat more frequent than you would think. It seems like we're kind of getting that sense here that they were probably just not getting along as well as we had hoped.
Yeah. That's definitely the general sense I got from all the post house resources that we have. I mean, the last episode of Opening New Doors when we saw, I was about to say Shion and Tsubasa at Sasa.
Do not compare them.
I'm not comparing them.
How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah, Shion and Tsubasa at Sasa, and they were sitting there with Tomio-san, and having a drink, and they were talking about how they just got over another fight. So
yeah,
right.
And then in these interviews, pretty frequently is brought up the fact that they do fight a lot. I think there's something about their personalities that it very much clashed with each other.
So Tsubasa, go ahead.
I'm wondering if they're happening frequently because of the long distance, because it's easy to miscommunicate over text or even over a call without having that person right in front of you. That must be hard to go to from living together to just having a screen most of the week.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I'm hearing a lot of in that interview I read, I was seeing a lot of weird red flags, man, about just trust and respect. right? And I've always talked about, like, those are the pillars of a strong, healthy relationship. If you do not have trust or respect, and actually both of them, if you do not have both of those, then you're on shaky ground, right? It's only a matter of time. You're on like a ticking time bomb, so to speak.
Yeah.
So where this comes into play in that interview was where Tsubasa learned for the first time ever, this isn't her first boyfriend, I don't think, but it's been a long time. It's been like 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Yeah. And for the first time, she's learning she's jealous. So she gets jealous now about attention that Shion gets. So that's kind of a red flag that things are happening where jealousy. I mean, there's a little bit of a healthy jealousy. I'm actually like a believer in that. There's just a very thin patina of jealousy on a relationship is not terrible. The worst thing ever. A patina, jealousy? Not a poutine. Yeah. Just a patina of jealousy. Just a little bit. Just a hint there.
Just a whole bunch of gravy and cheese curds.
It's like salt, though. Just a little bit too much salt kind of fucks shit up. But then Shion also in the same said interview, he said that Tsubasa is just kind of disrespectful in a way, whereas they have a date scheduled. Okay, and I'm really surprised how candid they get and descriptive in these interviews. So please go read them; they're really good reads, but they're long. But they had plans, okay? She went to go meet a male friend who I think was a masseuse or a therapist or a chiropractor. There it is, yeah. And then, so they have plans, and then she just disappears off the face of the map and is like an hour late and doesn't even have the fucking courtesy to let him know she's going to be late and to just, like, if they have plans, like, it's just a matter of respect, really. It's just a matter of respect, and they're already in a long distance relationship, so it's sending all kinds of like signals where like, wow, you don't even like, you're not even looking forward to seeing me like on time, like, and you can't even let me know, like, keep me updated. Compounded with the fact that she's hanging out with a guy, so that just like is another wrinkle too. Like, well, I don't even know how well she knows this friend. It's just not a good look.
For me, the iffy thing was that he was a chiropractor, and we all know
there's got to be touching.
Voodoo. That's voodoo doctor language for sex doctor.
No,
is it?
No, it's not.
Sex doctor or not, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a matter of, like I said, just like respect for Shion's time. I mean, I would want certainly someone, if they're going to be late and if we have a date and we have plans, just common courtesy. Like, let me know. Get up, send me a text, roll up in my DMs. Don't let me worry about you. And then if I find out that I am worrying about your well-being and all you're doing is like going and having fun and and cajoling with someone else when we have plans, then that just makes the matter that much worse for me.
Yeah, and there was kind of a lack of detail too in that when they brought up that situation with the chiropractor, was like, well, did the chiropractor make her late, or I don't know, it sounds a little suspicious, and I think almost anyone would be suspicious in that situation.
I guess I would just think of Tsubasa just being more thoughtful than that is all.
I definitely think in that situation she's in the wrong for not like just texting real quick. But given the context of, I don't remember if this was in the Model Press or the Elle interview, the way, and I think I've heard this quote before, I don't know if it was in this interview or not, but the way Shion, he strikes me as more as the jealous one, as more of the, well, you only come to Tokyo to see your friends and just happen to see me.
Yeah, he was making very small slights at Tsubasa, I feel like.
That's a little backhanded.
Oh, wait, he
very
said that much?
Aggressive.
I didn't read that other interview, but he said it basically like that?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find the quote here, but it was like, kind of said in a joking way, but even then it was like, wow, that seems a little far. It's like, well, you just come to Tokyo to see your friends and just happen to see me then. That's it.
The red flags, man. I never knew. I thought they were the perfect couple.
Also, I mean, there was a question that one of the interviewers asked where I don't know why you would ask this when the whole premise of the interview is like, this is Terrace House's most refreshing couple. I love seeing them together. Their togetherness is what makes us so happy. So I'm going to almost end this interview with, what's one thing you hate about the other person? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you ask that to any new, like, they're not newlyweds, but I mean, they're newly coupled. They're a public couple. Like, come on, right?
Yeah.
You must hate something.
What would you change? They're like, oh, nothing. Like, well, if I have to change something.
Yeah, they were like chiding him. It was like, no. You have to pick one. So Shion's like, I guess it's the way she talks like a little boy sometimes. How she tends to be a little bit sailor-mouthed and rude. And then they kind of like went back and forth, and apparently he got super duper mad at her one time for it.
For cussing?
Like,
that's a weird thing to get mad at.
Yeah.
For.
Well,
like
it's more. It's like her attitude.
Like there are distinctly different ways to talk in Japanese that sound really feminine or really masculine. And from what I can tell from the interviews, like in the show, Tsubasa talks pretty masculine. Like I've heard her say boku before, which is like you guys would describe yourselves as like boku is like I, whereas I would say like watashi or atashi. And it would be weird. I would sound like a tomboy if I said boku.
Is there an English equivalent you could give us?
I don't know, like maybe like referring to yourself as like dude.
I'm just a straight up dude. Yeah, I'm a dude.
I'm just a dude out here. Whereas like atashi, which would be like I am a lady. I don't know. There's not exactly an equivalent, but yeah, I mean she does talk very boyishly, and I'm not gonna lie, I wondered if that would be an issue. Like
interesting, because I'm thinking if my wife started referring to herself as a dude, I'd be like, what are you doing over there? What are you doing?
Well, that's the weird thing though, right? Is like saying boku isn't expressly saying I, the dude, believe this, you know, like
the dude
Capital
D dude.
Like you're not bringing attention to how you see yourself, or like you're not explicitly saying it. It's just kind of like you expect boys to say boku and girls to say watashi. It's just kind of like,
but it just goes against the grain to Shion's ear when he hears that, is what I'm detecting.
Yeah, but towards the beginning of the time that they were, even when they just started going out, I kind of shrugged it off as like Japanese tradition. But I mean, we knew from the offset that Tsubasa was a little bit more of a tomboy. I mean, she plays a super physical sport, right? She's like athletic and things like that. And I mean, she keeps her hair short. Like, I mean, I would say she's relatively tomboyish. And
she wears like basketball shorts.
Right. And which is fine. And like, it seemed like Shion was like, when they were still in the like just going out stages, like he was perfectly fine with it. Like he liked her for it. And then after they actually started dating, like they became a couple, you could definitely, I mean, it was pretty instant that like Tsubasa started dressing a little bit more feminine. She got a different haircut that framed her face differently. Like, and now we have Shion commenting on like how she talks. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like he's kind of like, he was rather shoehorning her into being like just changing a lot.
Yeah, and he was saying, and there were clues on the show too, where they were talking about like, yeah, she's starting to dress more feminine now too, right? That was brought up,
right? Exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could see it.
And let's not forget too, and we should bring this up too in terms of Japanese culture. And I also read this in the interview, where Valentine's Day is traditionally a holiday where the female confesses her feelings to the male. And then the males have like a month later or something like that, 6 weeks later, something like that. Yeah, they have a day where they reciprocate or give gifts, etc. That there's a day for men to confess. So the fact that Shion in Japan confessed his feelings for Tsubasa on Valentine's Day is a bit of a gender role reversal there. That's not considered normal, and that as an American, that's something I learned from that interview that I didn't know before. And so their whole relationship, I guess, I'm bringing that up because it started based on switching up roles.
Yeah, to further that role reversal, when Tsubasa had to answer that question, what would you change in Shion? She said that Shion tends to be a little bit too sensitive, which, I don't want to attribute that to any gender, but I mean, historically, especially in Japanese society, it's men who are stoic, machismo, I only cry when I'm out drinking with my friends, never in front of my woman, but not the case here, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I mean, just all is not well.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys think that part of the reason why they broke up was that, like, Shion was maybe trying to make her into someone different? Like, he was trying to
Are we going
to
get into this now, like the speculation? I mean, this is a big conversation on why they broke up. Are we going to get into that right now?
Yes.
I feel like there were some things that he maybe didn't necessarily like. He subconsciously expected, like, when you get a boyfriend, like, maybe she would become more girly, maybe she would become more feminine, maybe she would be not like done with hockey. But she even mentioned in the interview that she had like lost some weight, which is bad for hockey, but I guess good in other senses. But I mean, she's still Tsubasa. She's still, and that was the thing too, that line, I finally found it, that she has a lot of guy friends because she is kind of tomboyish. And he said, and this is the L interview, Tsubasa has a lot of guy friends, so it feels like she's coming to Tokyo to hang out with her friends and then seeing me while she's here.
On the side, I'm her side piece.
Yeah. And it's like, it's very interesting that he says like guy friends versus just like Tsubasa has a lot of friends that she comes and sees. Like, I feel like that almost slight bitterness wouldn't have been there if it was just like Tsubasa goes to Tokyo and hangs out with Ami and
Totally. You're totally
her
hitting the nail on the head.
girlfriends.
Of course.
Just
it's worse.
friends.
Of course it's worse.
Yeah, friends. But
No,
the fact
it's worse.
that he specifies that.
I mean, he's got to feel like the most special guy on earth to her. You know, that's what a healthy relationship is, in my opinion. You know, so if he feels like other men have precedent and have, you know, she has limited time in town and she'd rather spend it with other people, then it's got to hurt, I would imagine.
Yeah, and
from his point of view.
Something I was thinking about too, if we go way back before, like while they were still like just kind of going out and see where it goes sort of situation, there was a time, lest we forget, that Shion was unsure about how he felt about Tsubasa, right?
Only because they were terrible communicating and he just didn't want to get hurt too. That's why on the show. If you're talking about while they're on the show.
Right. Yeah, and my memory could be bad, and you're probably right, Jack. But like, I remember him being very unsure, and it was one of those things where like I can't remember what made him flip the way he thought about her, because
It was
Ami.
No, it was the Valentine's Day gift. No, birthday gift.
That's right. Yeah, because she
Scarf.
bought him a birthday gift, and that's
Yeah.
what really changed his mind about her.
Okay.
It was the only wholesome thing to happen in the playroom for the entire season.
But also remember, hey, there's some other things going on in that room. You know what I'm saying? But also just remember, like, Ami was the one telling her when Ami left, like, hey, you need to say something to Tsubasa because Tsubasa ain't gonna say shit. Like, so she was the one that like kind of lit the kiln,
Right,
to get him to take action.
right. Well, and my point being here is that I don't know that Shion was ever really sure that he was like super into her or not. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things where like spur of the moment kind of like, yeah, maybe he's thinking himself into like, yeah, I definitely like her. He's forcing himself.
Man. I don't know,
like
dude. I don't know, because the show every episode for me was like, this guy likes her a lot. He bought her charms and her hockey pants. I got the sense that he really liked her.
No,
not just
I
he was
did
like
not.
bored.
Yeah, I thought that he just really, really liked her as a friend. Like,
That's what I thought.
They both like playing basketball. They both like had the same interests, but he couldn't see her, I guess for lack of a better phrase, as a woman. Like
Romantically.
Oh my
as
gosh.
romantically.
I totally don't agree with
But
this.
then once the gesture was there, he started imagining it. And then once they were together, he was like all over her, which was really cute and nice to see, like that he was kind of the one that was more, I don't want to say Tsubasa was less into it. It was just that she's more reserved, but like seeing him totally into their relationship after being unsure was really satisfying.
See, I don't know, because like in my eyes, I think everything before she gave Shion the scarf was Shion testing the waters, not even necessarily romantically, just like, is this a person that I can be friends with? I think maybe only because of our preconceptions of Terrace House, we kind of jumped the gun and thought like, oh, he likes her because it's a guy asking a girl out. But I remember a lot of like conversations he was having with the guys. It was a lot of, I don't know. I mean, she seems nice, but he wasn't, head over heels. This is a love I'll die for, kind of anything like that.
Yeah.
And
Not like Shohei or Wada, no.
he asked out Sana.
Yeah.
And
he
Sana
did.
was like, no. She like literally in that moment, like in front of him said like, oh, I almost got in trouble with Tsubasa.
I totally forgot about that. Shion asked out Sana. I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had that way back there in the file folder. Wow, I totally forgot about that. I definitely remember watching these episodes for the first time. There was a healthy dose of skepticism in terms of Shion's motivations, and my wife would sit next to me and she's like, if he fucking plays her, if he hurts her feelings, I'm gonna fucking kill him, right? So I definitely remember that happening, but I think that they almost fell victim to never happening, Shion and Tsubasa together, because both of them were scared to make the first move. Tsubasa damn sure wasn't going to make the first move, and he was scared to put himself out there too, I feel, but I feel like if they had maybe different communication styles, and maybe if one person was more forthcoming, they would have actually happened sooner. I really don't think that I guess he did ask out Sena, but I really don't think that he had really sights set on anyone else. I mean, I also take Shion as someone that was also respectful of Taka, liking Ami, Taka liking other people. Like Shion wasn't the kind of guy to like step on someone's toes in pursuit of love or affection like Noah was, for instance. So I don't know. I looking back on it now, it's easy to say that he liked her the whole time, but there definitely was skepticism when you're watching those for the first time.
Yeah, I don't think he liked her the whole time. And also, I wouldn't necessarily say Tsubasa liked him the whole time either. Because in one of the interviews, she says something like, I wasn't really sure until he confessed to me. And it came off as kind of I wasn't sure he liked me, but like, I wasn't sure if a relationship is something I even wanted.
She wasn't sure that he liked her even when he said, I like you. Remember, she made him like triple down. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to be my boyfriend? Yeah, remember that? That was like, she's definitely was skeptical of the whole thing. And it is an unlikely couple. And that's what was so endearing to me at the time.
Yeah, definitely. It like the model charmer with the hometown athlete definitely wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a typical thing you think about. Like, and plus it was like, it sounds more likely if like the hometown athlete dates, the model. If the genders were flipped, maybe that'd be a little bit more classic storybook, whatever gender.
More
standards.
cliche, yeah.
Cliche. Way more cliche. But yeah, it's definitely like a little more or a little less expected. Their situation.
Yeah. If we're going to totally question the gospel here and get totally tin hat conspiracy, I do, and I mean. This is a legitimate wonder. This is a legitimate ask. I wonder how much the reason why they got together was if there was that pressure, like if they were totally happy being friends, but there was that pressure and that question because of the show, because of social media, that people want us to be together. Maybe we should be together. Why do they see that? Maybe we need to find out.
That seems to be a psychological thing, right? Where, I mean, even Yui said as much. Like she when she really starts liking some guy is when someone else tells her, "Oh, you guys are a cute couple," or something like that. Like hearing it, from a third party, from an independent third party, essentially.
Yeah, I think I don't know. When you think about it, right? When they went on their first few dates, even the panel, right, called them a refreshing couple. Not just a refreshing pair of friends hanging out. It was like immediately they were saying, hey, they're dating. They're a couple. Or they're going to be dating.
Yeah, they even went as far as saying, like, didn't somebody say that they would make beautiful babies and shit like that?
Yeah, I mean, still, listen, I'm not going to betray my former self. Like, I still love them, even though they weren't, at that time as a couple. And I still was definitely rooting on them. And to me, I've always maintained they were the best romance on TV. And, even though now it's over, like, I wish them the best, but man, I thought it was just great. Like they just had really good chemistry hanging out together, but it always seemed strange to me when things got physical. It seemed like more like a really, really tight friendship, so who knew? I always hoped for the best though. I was like, oh, well now they're dating. Now they're going to, they do the couples dance, as Shion said, right? Like, oh, now they're going to have a whole new kind of chemistry here. So I wish the best for them, but I wonder what the true cause was of why they broke up. I guess we should, as we're wrapping up this episode, we should kind of chime in with our final thoughts. I mean, I'll be the guy, I'll be the weirdo that says it, but I have to be honest to you guys, and I have to be honest to our audience too. I can't sit here and lie, but I just think there's too many signs, and far be it from me to be like an expert in this field, but I just wouldn't be surprised if Tsubasa perhaps just wasn't as attracted to Shion as maybe we'd like to hope if he's a male model. And I honestly would not be shocked. I don't know if I'm the only one in this room, but I would not be shocked if maybe Tsubasa decided to potentially date a member of her own sex going forward too. I don't know. Because their chemistry was awkward to me. That's all I'll say, I guess. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. What do you guys think? I'm just trying to be dead honest.
I wouldn't go far enough as to guess at her sexuality, but I just think that there wasn't a lot of chemistry there.
Who knows about her sexuality? But I don't think it would surprise her dad either, based on his comments, right? Like he said she's acted like a boy her whole life, essentially. Shion said he wants her to be, and I'm not saying that you have to act, quote unquote, feminine to be heterosexual. I'm not meaning that. All I'm saying is that who knows? We're just purely speculating here as to what caused this awesome relationship that we thought was existing to fizzle. Maybe and it's clear now through all these everything we're uncovering this episode is that their chemistry and their happiness wasn't necessarily as peachy keen as we had hoped.
Right. It's hard to look back without it being through the lens of the stuff that we know now, especially seeing all the red flags thrown up with all the fighting and stuff and the comments about fighting that we have been getting in their post interviews and the last episode, like just alluding to a lot of fighting. And I think even when they made a cameo earlier in the show, Shion and Tsubasa, didn't they allude to fighting as well?
Maybe you mean like in that episode
when they came back into the house?
The last episode, 50.
Not the last episode, the birthday party.
It was some kind of party.
I think they were just talking. I don't remember, but they were having there was some awkwardness there. I remember that, some awkwardness that didn't exist when they lived together in the house proper. I do remember there was awkwardness, but they were talking about I want her to dress, or she's starting to dress more feminine now. So that was a topic. But then she showed up to that in just sweatpants and t-shirt, and she's like, "Yeah, I just came from work, so that's why I look like this. But I am trying to dress a little more like a cute girl or something like that." I can't remember the exact quote. But yeah, that was a topic, and it's just not really in her. I don't see it. I want Tsubasa to be herself. I want her to try and fit in some weird shell, especially for a guy. That's the worst reason to ever change anything about yourself. I just want her to be who she is, and I don't care what her sexuality is. But I think I'm a firm believer that if someone's trying to change you, then how much do they really like you before you were dating for who you are?
And don't let me put words in your mouth here, but even as you say that, I don't think that Shion, I don't think that you think this either, but I don't think that Shion was you need to dress more feminine, you need to stop talking like a boy. I think if anything, it was more of that subconscious feeling that he didn't really know how to express, but he just knows that I don't like it when she talks like a boy does, but I'm not gonna say I don't like it because then you seem really masculine and that emasculates me or something like that. I don't think that he was trying consciously to change her, but I think that his surprise that she didn't change was maybe what kind of made things a little rocky there and might have started some fights. I mean, the reason I loved this couple in the first place is because I never foresaw them fighting. They just seemed such good friends, and then adding in the affectionate physical part, it seemed natural up until actually seeing it happen, and then it was still kind of there was some reservedness there that one person seemed more into it than the other.
I think it just boils down to incompatibility. I think they both value very different things. I think Shion, despite how sensitive he seems to be, kind of values that typical male, typical female relationship where the guy is manly and the girl is girly. Whereas Tsubasa doesn't quite value that and seems to be proud of, her, the way she talks, the way she plays hockey. She hates the fact that she lost weight, that goes against that whole idea of a girly girl in a way. And
good point.
And I guess both sides of the party couldn't handle that, and that's fine. I think I'd rather them break up now than have get married and have bitter relationship for the rest of their lives, hate each other.
And Shion be like, I'm divorced and I have a kid,
and he comes back on Terrace House.
No, don't do this to the man. Listen, I'm gonna add another pillar. Okay, earlier I said there's trust, respect, and Daily, you remind me of the last pillar of the triumvirate here: managed expectations and realistic expectations, right? And so those are the real key recipes there in terms of how successful and how much longevity a relationship is going to have, in my experience.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same here.
I definitely think part of it was that, and we've kind of alluded to this already, but that a lot of people or at least some people have like a preconceived notion, or at least an idea, right, of what they want out of a relationship going into a relationship, right? I think there's a chance that Shion was like had the ideal partner in his head, and in some ways was trying to mold Tsubasa into that.
And it happens a lot. It's an easy pitfall to get into. And I mean, he's what, 23? She's 24.
Around that,
right?
yeah.
Like they're younger.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're younger, so they have some experience, but not a lot. And that's just one of those things that you learn.
Yeah,
you learn a lot about yourself in a relationship. It sounds cliche, but you do. You learn a lot about how you react to things that you don't necessarily expect to happen.
I noticed the way we've been talking about this, we're like totally putting it on like the theory would be then that Shion broke up with Tsubasa.
I don't think that. No, that's not my theory. My theory is that she broke up with him.
Well, the way that certain things are worded, there was a quote from him that said, like, part of the reason why I broke up. I think he said I broke up with her. Like, I'm pretty sure he said that in one of the quotes that I read.
So it's not mutual.
We have that. Yeah, like by the way, isn't he like a Mentos ambassador?
He's a Mentos ambassador.
This man's got some back alley deals going on, man. I don't know.
Why is that back alley?
All I'm saying is I love me some Mentos. Colin can
drink some
testify.
Diet Coke and have a fucking party.
Keep a fuck ton of Mentos around.
Robert fucking lives off of Mentos, man. He has an obsession with anything with mint in it. It's weird. It might be a fetish.
Mentos sponsor me, please.
I haven't had a Mentos in like 25 years.
That's good for you.
But what Shion said with his minty mouth, he said, I just broke, and this could be translation, it could be mutual, but I just broke up with my girlfriend whom I dated for 1 year. Right now I'm in the process of sorting out my feelings, and I'm going to be focusing on my work for a while. The long distance played a part, and we had our differences. She would come to Tokyo a lot to see me, and she always gave me a lot of support. I would like to use this opportunity to thank her once again.
And there's an edit to clarify. He just says my girlfriend and I broke up, not I just broke up. Like there's an edit under that, at least.
So that throws that whole thing. My theory, and I know nothing, and please correct me in the comments here if you happen to know what really happened and went down. But my theory is just that Tsubasa broke up with him, and it's because she thinks he's a little oversensitive about things. He makes things out to be a bigger deal than they need to be. And she just didn't see in her heart. I mean, I hate to say it, breaks my heart to say it, but her heart just didn't see this happening long term. And for who knows what reasons, hopefully it plays out long term and we'll find out. But man, I was rooting for him, and they were certainly the entire time. I don't think anyone would disagree. They were an unlikely couple, right? They were the most unlikely couple, and that's why I rooted for them. Know? So hey, God bless them both. I wish them the best. And thank you for the show and thank you for the entertainment. But man, I am sad about them breaking up because I was hoping they'd get married together and die together. Like notebook style. Notebook style.
But I think that's a good place to end our moratorium.
We wish that they would have died together.
I wish they died
That's
together.
Our statement.
Romeo and Juliet. No, just kidding.
Time to go put on some Joji and cry myself to sleep.
Same.
No, this was supposed to be a celebratory podcast, but I mean, it is dark. It's a dark chapter, and we have to talk about it. We can't not talk about this.
We now support them as individuals because I will always be in love with Tsubasa.
Yeah, actually, let's talk a little bit about that. We know Shion, his plans for the future. He's aiming for Milano in the New York circuit in terms of fashion. So it's like bulking up a bit.
Milan.
Yeah, whatever. Milano.
Gonna get buff.
Milano cookies.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah,
some more. I know, right?
He's gonna move into fashion. And I believe Tsubasa, based on all the interviews, she said she wanted to stay in Kadoizawa for at least a year. I believe that year is going to be up in this summer. So I think for her, it's kind of like an open book. What's going to be next?
And Crashed Ice, is something she's continuing to do too. But I was anyone else surprised at the turn that Tsubasa took after? I thought she would get inspired when they started the relationship and move to that. I can't remember what was it, Sakura? I cannot remember. That other team that wanted to sign her and be captain to have her grow and catapult her career. I can't remember where it was. It was North.
No, I didn't think she was going to move because
I wanted her to. I didn't say I think she. I mean, I wanted her to do that, but I tell you what I didn't think she was going to do, and it's just stay in Kurosawa and be a fairy. That was, I guess, where I was surprised.
I just think she's so embedded already in there. I think she's happy with what her life is like. I think maybe eventually she'll want more in terms of challenge when it comes to hockey. But whenever, like, reading these interviews that we read, and she would be like, I'm gonna do hockey for a year and then maybe move to Tokyo. It's like that was so like wishy-washy. It's like, nah, you're not gonna move to Tokyo. You're saying that because it's what you and Shion kind of hope happen.
Her dad too is giving her pressure too to kind of spread her wings and fly too. So she feels a lot of pressure from external sources to do other things.
Yeah, but do keep in mind too, Tomio also believes that she's playing hockey for her mom.
But you can play hockey with classes, right? Like, and
right. But I mean, there's something about playing hockey for your mom and your hometown team where your mom raised you.
That's clearly what she's going to do. And
there's a lot of attachment there for Tsubasa. So I mean, like, I don't blame her for wanting to stay behind. And she built a lot of that team. You know, she put a lot of work into building that team. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
but she's not even a captain anymore, right?
I don't know.
Isn't that what we learned? It's a weird thing. Her, like, she's at a crossroads, and wish her the best.
Same. That's what we want to end this episode on. We wish both of them the best. Shion, we hear you understand English, so if you somehow are listening to this, we wish you the best. And also hit us up. You can be on one of our episodes.
Hey.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
No, let's never talk about Harry Potter.
Or Shion's dad. I also hear you're on the subreddit, so if you somehow catch wind of this, tell your son. That'd be cool too. Otherwise, we're running a contest here on Tadaima. Hey, Jack, do you want to tell the lovely folks at home about all that?
So leave us a review on either iTunes or leave us a comment on Podbean, and do that before the end of this month in April. And once you do, you are going to then go on to one of our social medias, or just email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com and just let us know what your screen name was in iTunes when you left that review, or in Podbean. So that way we can just draw a correlation there and give you credit. And so once you leave that review, preferably a 5-star review, please, thank you very much, you will then be entered into our contest. We're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card at the end of April. And if you've already entered into the contest from earlier in January, you are entered again into this one automatically. So help us spread the word, guys. Really, the reason why we're doing this is because we need iTunes reviews so that we can bring more people into this awesome Terrace House family, and we can just grow the community. And so that's the best way to help us, guys. Tell your friends, tell all your Terrace House friends, and help us out on iTunes. Thanks so much.
Heck yeah. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, theories, any reasons, any tinfoil hat theories that you think that our wonderful couple broke up, you can email
Aliens did it.
There you go.
Aliens.
If you want to tell us how the aliens broke Shion and Tsubasa up, please email those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. We are definitely reading your emails. We got one from Adrian the other day. It was lovely to read. Thank you so much. You can catch us next Tuesday for another episode of Tadaima. We're going to be covering the Lost Tapes, some more extra Another Terrace episodes. We're going to be covering the special scenes from week 38 to 41 of Opening New Doors.
Oh,
so
shit.
if you want to do a little bit of homework, check those out. But until then, we'll see you next Tuesday. So this has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itekimasu!
Email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House Podcast.
I hate that. Thanks.
It feels good to do, though.
Does it?
I'm not gonna try. Let's just start like that.
Yeah. Like up here, like up
keep going.
your top jaw, you put like, you do air bubbles up there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it on the mic.
I wish someone could talk like Daffy Duck. I wish I could talk like Daffy Duck. Do you guys know who Daffy Duck is?
Daffy or Donald?
Is that too old? Daffy. Who the fuck? Yeah, Donald Duck. Okay. Are they related?
Who the fuck? Oh, wait. Yes, that's what I meant.
Are they related? Or are they just ducks? One's black and one's white.
They're two wholly different
Oh,
properties.
Disney and Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
They look the same. And do either of them wear pants? I don't think
Is
so.
that Duckist? I think that's Duckist.
They look the same.
They look the same.
Suffering succotash.
Had enough of you people. What you mean, you people? Duck people.
What you mean, you people?
Duck people.
Good Lord.
Donald Duck.
Hold on,
I wish I
wait,
could talk
wait,
like Donald
wait,
Duck.
wait. Actually, I just realized. Did you just ask us if we know about who Donald Duck is?
Yeah, I don't know what y'all know.
Yeah, he's the shitty healer from Kingdom Hearts.
Exactly.
There you go. That's how we know.
Yeah. I hear he has 3 nephews, but who knows?
I want to talk like him.
DuckTales. Woo.
There's a guy, he has a career on YouTube just for playing Call of Duty as the voice of Donald Duck. And he
That's pretty good.
He
That's
pays
pretty
his
great.
rent that way. That's how he pays his rent.